Greetings. So here we are. Let's talk a little bit about Tai Chi beginning stance. After bowing in and standing in the ready position, it's time to separate yin and yang. Here's where the beginning stance takes place. This form is very important to the foundation of many forms to follow. So be very sure to spend a fair amount of time practicing this stance every day. Make sure that you get into this form and the stance is not too wide, not too narrow. One of the most common errors that is made in this stance is stepping out too far and uncontrollably into a very wide stance. Remember, the general rule of stepping is when you step out, you should be able to bring your foot back in while maintaining your balance on the weighted foot. So therefore, if you weighted on the right foot and you want to step out left, you should be able to bring back the left leg or the left foot without transferring your weight from off your weighted leg. Do not fall into your stance. If you do happen to get into your stance and you find out that it's too wide, that's okay. Just simply adjust the stance until you feel comfortable. Never feel that you have to continue on in a stance that is not comfortable. It's your stance. Here we are. Once you step out, slightly turn your feet inward. I talked about this on the video yesterday. Only turn in your foot to a comfortable position, anywhere from 0 to 45 degrees. Pay attention. If you have any knee problems, do not overturn your foot. It would be best to have the foot straight as opposed to overturning it. Take your time and turn in the foot only as far as it is comfortable for you, and once again without putting stress on your knees. When you do your side to side movement, move gently in a flat manner, not rising or sinking, not turning the waist. In other words, when you go from left to right, you should stay on one horizontal plane. Make sure you stop before going too far either to the left or the right. I showed a diagram on yesterday with the infinity sign. So, in other words, when you're shifting or floating left or floating right, you don't come to a standstill. Once you get to that left side, you keep going. It looks like you're just shifting left and right, but actually you're making a movement like the infinity sign or figure 8. Okay? So keep that in mind. I will be giving you a video in a minute showing me going through the different movements in this form. So outside, it may look like you're just simply moving from side to side, but inside you're actually following that infinity symbol. So here it is. This is where you begin to separate substantial and insubstantial, and you actually begin to do Tai Chi. Remember the Tai Chi symbol. Tai Chi is separating clearly the substantial from the insubstantial. It is moving meditation, and that is what we are beginning to do in this form. You want to make sure that you devote a lot of practice to getting comfortable in this form. You're going to use this form in many forms that will follow. So you want to be able to do this with little effort. You want to calm your mind, concentrate as you float from side to side, keeping aware of both substantial and insubstantial as they exchange throughout the movement. This form should be practiced as you can, this form should be practiced as much as you can in the beginning. It is essential to the progress as you advance through the different forms. Always devote time to learning this form. As I mentioned before, I've been doing this form for 8-9 years now under the Tai Chi system, and I still make it an essential practice every day to do this simple form a minimum of 20 minutes. Add it to your recipe. It is essential to your progress as you advance, so always devote time to learning it. All these fundamental forms are important to building a good solid foundation for your progress into the higher levels of Tai Chi practice. Each day, approach practice as if starting all over again, and everything is new. This will serve you well in the years to come in your Tai Chi practice. So now I'm going to show you the proper way to get into the stance. Also, I gave you diagrams on yesterday. Use those diagrams. Look at the words that I also gave you in the written literature. This is the beginning stance. So, as I said previously, after you bow in and you get into the ready position, now you're ready to begin Tai Chi. This is where you're going to separate yin and yang. So pay attention to my feet and listen to the details. Once you've cleared your mind from all the mundane thoughts of the day, you're ready to be in Tai Chi mode. The fingertips slightly touch the seams of the pants on the side. You have this opening here in the armpits. Remember, the knees are slightly bent. Clear your mind. Get into what they call a Wu-Ji state. This is the state before Tai Chi. The head is suspended from the sky. The mouth is sealed. Tongue is behind the top teeth. I slowly begin to sink my weight into my left leg. I step out to the right. Toe touches the ground first. Then my heel. Now I'm on my right side. I'm fully weighted on my right side. I can actually pick up my left foot. As I begin to shift left, my toe turns in. Remember, we talked about 45 degrees. It can turn in as much as 45 or less. It's not so important at this stage in your practice. Shift your weight over to the left side, back to center. I have completed the beginning stages, and you can practice this over and over again. Now, once you get to this point, what you want to do is, in your mind, get that figure 8 or that infinity sign and practice shifting the weight back and forth, across, around, like on the diagram that I showed you. The weight's going around, now it's coming across, back across the center, so it's going to go across to my toe, around the back to my foot, cross, round, all the way around to the heel, back across. And you can just sit here and practice this. So on the outside, it looks like I'm just shifting from side to side. But in actuality, like I just talked about, I'm making this figure 8. Now notice your upper body or the torso, you don't want it turning from side to side. It maintains straightness, and the body is just floating from left and right. Following that infinity sign. You can sit here and just practice this for as long as you wish, maintaining that clear state of mind, not letting your mind wander, keeping the chest in, not out, head suspended, chin slightly tucked, maintaining openness under the armpits. You don't want the arms in close to the body like this. Open the fingertips, open the space between the fingers, let the energy flow. Bend the knees, all the little details that should always be maintained. Move from the center. Let the center move. Guide your movement. Over time, you will be able to make this movement smaller and smaller, and you will barely be able to see it from the outside. So I'm going around the figure 8, around the figure 8. The tailbone is pointing straight down. I'm not going up and down in my movement. No up and down, just horizontal movement. No stopping and starting. Continuous motion. Before I get over to the right, I'm going back left. Continuous. Just seems like a simple practice. People rush through it, but it's the foundation. We talk about the foundation and the basics. Well, this is the basics. This is what's going to make your Tai Chi good. Spend time here. Don't rush to get into the fancy long forms. Here we are. Enjoy it. Round and round. Remember, all the movement comes from the dantian. This is guiding all of your movement right here. Feel the difference. Make sure the toes are in if you can, if your knees aren't bothering you. When you turn the toes in, it's going to free up the energy gate in the middle of your back. Feel the difference in and out with the toes. If the toes go out, it's going to pinch your nerves in the back. It's going to pinch your nerves. You want those toes inward. You don't want them out like that. No good. Toes should be in. When they're in like that, it opens up this area. Opens it up. Practice that over and over again. If you have any questions, go to the website. Post any questions you may have. We'll have a Skype session soon. Peace.